Hey everyone! Now it's time for a screenwriter's take on Dave Chappelle's Sticks and Stones. Watch the whole thing, including the epilogue. Do not miss the epilogue. The way Netflix runs it is there's two separate videos. You watch the show, and then you have to click on a separate thing to watch the epilogue. That, to me, was the best part of the show, although the set is amazing. But the epilogue is great because he does Q&A with the audience and then tells some really personal stories and jokes, and that to me is the best part. The whole set really, I think a lot of the best comedy is truth. I've done stand-up before, and I have a real respect for the craft. I can't do it as well as Dave, of course, but it's really hard to get at those truths, and he just first off does a great set, and then the after portion, he tells some great stories and talks a little bit about Charlie Murphy, a little bit about Barack Obama and Chris Tucker, and so. I'm a little shocked that it wasn't even more offensive. The press that's coming out about the show, that it's so boring and horrible and offensive. First they said it was so offensive, then they said it was boring. It's none of those things. It's the hour flies by, and it's a tight set. Dave knows exactly what he's doing. He wears this for this Atlanta show, he wore this one suit with Chapelle on it. He looked like a Ghostbuster or something. But I felt the show's really solid, and I felt the need to tell you that and to tell YouTube that because, as I've heard, Rotten Tomatoes has given it 0%. So the critics are coming down on him, which is just more woke BS. Oh, here's little Joan. Joan, you saw the show. Did you like it? Come here. Did you like the show, Joan? Yes, I love the show. I love Dave Chappelle. Oh, very good, doggy. So I think it's unfair that they're picking on Dave like this. 10 years ago, these jokes would not have warranted articles in news organizations saying that the set was boring or racist or whatever. This is typical stuff. Typical comedian stuff. And even Dave has to talk about how people are talking about this and how people are, just caught up in the, as they say now, cancel culture. Trying to destroy people's careers and whatnot, and even talks about an incident with himself and how that kind of he was lucky that blew over. But really, it's just, it's like I said before, I've never been so happy not to be famous in this era, because I wanted to be famous all my life and never was, but now it's like, oh, whew, whew. Because, man, they just come down on these guys for no reason. And, it's one thing if you work, an hourly wage job and you lose your job, it sucks. But, man, if you're making $60 million for a comedy special and you lose that gig, that's that's a big loss, You may be okay, but, that kind of fall from grace in some ways is a lot worse. So, I'm glad the fans still support Dave, I think. And I think they should. I think Dave is really doing genuine, heartfelt work. I wish he'd stop smoking. Dude, stop smoking. You're starting to get the smokers, You kill yourself, you get throat cancer, it's going to be tough to tell jokes. So, please quit the smoking. But other than that, man, he tells real stories, and if he's not sincere, it certainly seems sincere, and that to me is half the battle. You know, it's a good show. You should support Dave. If you have Netflix, you should definitely watch it. It's worth your time. And if you're on Rotten Tomatoes, when they finally allow the the fan score, vote them up, because we need to show, I think, the hypocrisy of Rotten Tomatoes again, because it is just a terrible, in my view, a terrible site that is basically run by shills at this point. And in the hands of woke Hollywood, it can only be used for evil. So let's deal them another defeat. Vote yes. Vote 5 stars on Dave Chapelle.